Hola, Boyo Diaz. How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel once again. I am Robert Storms. As always, if you're finding me for the very first time, please be sure to click that like and subscribe button. Well, guys, it happened. It happened. It actually happened worse than I thought was going to happen, because I thought like 50%, and I didn't think it was going to drop from 1 to 5, but here we are. Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds, Free Guy, actually beat The Suicide Squad at the box office, which wasn't a big surprise to me. I just figured, dropping 50%, Free Guy would have to make a certain amount, but Suicide Squad dropped 70%, and that's not good. What's to blame for this? And it's obvious what's to blame for this. The reason why I'm asking the question is because I want you guys to think about it for just a second. What is the blame for Suicide Squad making so little money and being a box office disaster? This movie crashed and burned at the box office. This movie has lost the studio so much money that it's laughable at the poor management skills over at Warner Brothers that decided it was a good idea to do what they did. So do you guys give up? Do you guys give up? You give up? Well, the reason why this movie crashed and burned, guys, is because of HBO Max. HBO Max killed this movie. So we're gonna go in, I'm gonna show you some of the box office, and then I'm gonna go in and I'm going to break down why HBO Max actually destroyed this movie. So we're gonna go in. This is this past weekend at the box office. Free Guy coming in at number 1 with $28.4 million, which is actually more than what Suicide Squad brought in on its opening weekend. That's right, guys. The Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, brought in more money than Suicide Squad did in its opening weekend. I think that's just hilarious. Don't Breathe 2 came in with a nice 10.6 million, which is not bad. Jungle Cruise, 9 million, dropping 43%. In the second week, still did better than Suicide Squad. Respect, bringing in 8.8, but then we go to Suicide Squad, bringing in 7.7, dropping a massive 70% on the box office. 70%. Usually the way these movies do, they usually have their weekend, what they made the first weekend, and then the second weekend usually it drops off between 50 and 55%. Suicide Squad dropped off 70%, which isn't good. And I'm just gonna kind of break down some of these numbers here, and I'm gonna compare this to a couple movies here. And I'm not comparing it by style or if it's better than the movie. I'm not comparing it by that. I'm just comparing by box office because it does make a lot of sense. So Suicide Squad right here has 26.2 million on its opening weekend. Like I already said, Free Guy made more than that by like 2.5 million, made more than that. Suicide Squad currently is at 42 million domestically, 75 internationally, with a worldwide of 118. The reason why I bring this up is because, like I said, HBO Max killed this movie. No one's gonna go to a theater, especially during a pandemic, and risk anything when they can sit home and watch it for free. Even if there wasn't a pandemic, when you give people an option to sit home and watch it, they're gonna sit home and watch it. That's what I did. That's what all my friends did. Usually we would go to the theater and see this, but why go to the theater? Why sit there, get in the car, travel, 15, 20, 30 minutes in some cases, go to the theater, be around people that are annoying, who's on their cell phones talking, when you can sit home on your comfortable couch, you have a big TV, you have a good surround sound system, and you can just watch in the comfort of your own home. Make your own food, go to the bathroom when you want, and don't have to worry about arguing or being out. It's just a better option. So when you give people the option, they're gonna stay home. Warner Brothers killed themselves by making this on HBO Max with no premium. Just if you have HBO Max, boom, you get it day and date. That was the dumbest move they possibly could have done. And I'm gonna bring this up because we're gonna go over to Black Widow, which is at 178 domestically, 189 internationally, with a worldwide of 367, with a opening of 80 million. So more people wanted to go see this movie. It was also on Disney Plus. That's why I'm comparing these two. I'm comparing these two movies not on the quality of the films, but I'm comparing them that they're both comic book films and both of them went to streaming service. The only difference is one you have to pay pay a premium price of $30. The other one is free with the subscription. So you can kind of see where that hurt it, where you can see where like people chose to stay home with Suicide Squad and more people risked it with Black Widow. But Black Widow also didn't do that well because a lot of people did decide to pay that premium price. So now the next movie I'm going to compare is not a comic book movie, but it's a movie that was not available on a streaming service. So Suicide Squad, free with your subscription to HBO Max. Black Widow, you need Disney Plus, and then you need to pay an upcharge of $30 to get it. So you can see where, okay, more people are willing to go to the theater than pay $30 extra to basically just rent it on Disney Plus. So now we're going to go to another movie that did not get any streaming service, and that is Fast 9. And look at the difference. Yes, Fast 9 did not make as much opening weekend as Black Widow, but it had legs. 172 domestically, 509 million internationally, with a grand total of 681. And the reason why that is because it was not on a streaming service and it had a massive international appeal. So you take something like Suicide Squad, once that thing goes on HBO Max, boom, everybody's gonna bootleg it. Even if you don't have HBO Max, you're gonna get HD quality bootleg. Same thing with Black Widow. Once that thing hits Disney Plus premium service, you're gonna get HD bootlegs, and a lot of people chose to do that. So between the bootlegging and the streaming service, no one's going to the theater to see this. Whereas if this was before COVID, more people would go to the theater because we don't have the option. Once you give people the option to stay home and watch the stuff on streaming service, or in worst case scenario, people that bootleg, I'm not a big fan of bootlegging. I don't do it personally, but I can see where if you give people the option, there it is. Yes, it's sad, but people do it. People I know do it. And hey, that's what they want to do. More power to them. It's the studio's fault for making these movies available on streaming services in the first place. So you can see where movies like Suicide Squad, Black Widow bombed at the box office. Suicide Squad bombed a little more because of the idiots over there going, yeah, we're just going to put day-to-date on HBO Max. All you have to pay is the $14.99 a month. No upcharge, no nothing. It was the dumbest decision Warner Brothers has ever done, and it goes back to poor management over there at Warner Brothers. So it sucks for everybody who worked on that movie. It sucks for James Gunn, but at the end, if you have poor business decisions being made, you have no choice. This is the result. Yes, Suicide Squad is a massive, massive disaster at the box office. There's no way you can make that sound good. There's no way, no matter how much you guys want to sit there and yell from the top of the mountain that, oh, I love this movie's great. At the end of the day, the numbers do not lie. The numbers do not lie. The movie dropped 70% in its opening weekend, and the movie crashed and burned. Crashed and burned. The fact that Free Guy and Jungle Cruise has made more money than Suicide Squad is a laughable joke. So no matter how great you think the movie is, at the end of the day, it does not matter because Warner Brothers screwed the creators over, screwed the producers over, the directors, the actors, everybody, and put this movie day to day on HBO Max, and it flopped. This movie is a massive, massive box office financial disaster, and there's no way you can sit there and cookie cutter that and try to make it sound positive in any way. But that's just my thoughts, guys. Those are the numbers. I listed it out. I put it right out there for you. Numbers don't lie. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think HBO Max and Warner Brothers screwed James Gunn over by putting this movie day to day on HBO Max? Do you think the R rating has something to do with it, or do you think it's just bad word of mouth? Be sure to leave those comments in the comment box below. And until next time, as always, I am Robert Storms, and that's my opinion.